And do you see any potential challenges with introducing a strength-based approach to your workplace, clients, or in general? Feel free to raise your hand or, type in the chat or come off of mic. Do you see any potential challenges with introducing a strength-based approach to your workplace, clients, or in general?
Crystal has her hand raised.
I have done this in a grant program that I took over probably about a year ago. And it was an intentional shift in culture for that specific program. And what I found was that they didn't trust that I was genuine in my open approach. And so they were very hesitant to come to me when if they had issues or there was a mistake. They were very hesitant to come to me at first because they thought that it was going to be something that got them in trouble rather than, hey, there's absolutely nothing that can't be fixed. Let's work together to fix this problem. So I think that depending on what the existing culture was, that can present a challenge to implementing any kind of organizational change.
Did you lean into one of your strengths, Crystal, to address that challenge? Just out of curiosity, if you want to share.
I did, but more than that, I leaned into identity. And because I am Cherokee and Creek, I made different elements of the program that I was implementing. I named it with traditional language so that it felt more authentic to the population that I was working with. And it helped overcome that in-group, out-group bias. Clearly, I don't look like my family. And so I think that contributed to some of that distrust. But once I really leaned into identity and acceptance and collective collaboration, it helped.
Oh, fascinating. Thank you for sharing that. Any other thoughts to potential challenges when introducing a strength-based approach to your workplace?
Actually, I want to point out what Crystal brought up. She did leverage at least one of her strengths, but some creativity and some good problem solving there.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Mark, what happens when team strengths aren't aligned with team roles?
I think there's a bit of dysfunction that shows up there. I think there's dissatisfaction. I think there's performance that could be better than it ends up showing, how it shows up. I think those are the two of the main things that show up for me when you ask that question. Any other thoughts on Milry's question? I think that's a great question.
Well, there'll probably be a lot of internal criticism of others because the person who has that strength will be looking at what someone else did and saying, you didn't do that right, or didn't do it well, and things like that.
Yeah, and I think that's where some of the judgment might come in, and some other, as we call them in coaching, saboteurs, like negative thinking or judgment's a big part of that, or comparisons, self-acceptance. So I don't do it as well as Jake does, things like that. So it's interesting. Isn't the human condition fascinating?
Yeah, trying to create a culture based around misaligned strengths and roles is a big challenge.
Yeah, no, misalignment with roles, for example, like just to kind of add on to that, Maria, and not all the roles and responsibilities, align perfectly with an individual's strengths, leading to, again, frustration, disengagement. So part of the solution could be to encourage flexibility in role assignments and allowing your employees to incorporate their strengths into their work whenever possible, even though it's not always a perfect, situation. And there might be resistance to change. Crystal gave a great example of that. Another kind of way to kind of look at that would be to gradually introduce the concept, offer training and support, and demonstrate the benefit through real-world examples. But again, I think through Crystal's creative example, that's another way that she found a way to make that work. Skill gaps, team dynamics. So there's a number of challenges that come up and solutions to help address that.